Life is a series of ups and downs, and House Torres of Sardinia has experienced its fair share of both. Despite our strong presence in the Mediterranean, we find ourselves surrounded by enemies and allies who are unreliable at best. Recently, our armies were called to the east to protect our ally in Hellas and to fight the heathens in Vladimir. Although we initially achieved victory in Crimea, we were caught off guard by enemies in Anatolia and suffered a crushing defeat. While the Sardinian navy has been a valuable asset in these wars, it has not been enough to secure any major successes. Queen Castalla has watched as the wars have unfolded, hoping to find some semblance of victory or redemption. But unfortunately, it seems that our luck has run out. As Anatolikon marches towards Athens, we can do nothing but watch as the House of Torres suffers more losses. If we are unable to stabilize our position and gain a foothold, this could be the beginning of the end of our noble house. Despite these challenges, we must remember that our family has faced adversity before and emerged victorious. It is through our perseverance and determination we will overcome these difficult times. The House of Torres will not be defeated so easily. This is the fourth part of a House Torres mega campaign in EU4. I would say a disaster of this magnitude in the mega campaign. For a good 100 years, I'd say probably post-Lysandro, maybe Cipriana era was the last time we had something like this. If we were attacked by Castalla or Britain or anyone like that right now, we would do pretty badly. So we really need to stabilize. We really need to secure our borders, and we need to stabilize our allies. So we need to secure land here. I'm thinking we go after probably Crete or Cyprus today pretty early on and secure a port there, because we're going to need it to do what I promised, which is that if Hellas survives, we are going to fight wars against the heathen, the Orthodox heathens there, and establish them as the definitive power in the region. Obviously, we have King Castalla. She is a malevolent lawgiver. We've got maybe a Lysandro's heir kind of thing going here, which has been fun. She's been very brutal, but seen a lot of defeat as well. We have to pay off our loan. We only have one. Could be much worse. We also, again, have discovered the New World. So all of the European dramas going on as usual, while we do know about the New World and would be very interested in exploring and expanding there. So we can almost actually start to explore. And then once we're done with that, we will hopefully be able to start to colonize. We will take exploration. All right, so the war is over. Hellas has survived, though they've lost their capital of Athens. They have kept 4 provinces, which is enough to rebuild with. At this point, the priorities of Castalla, I'm sure she's just angrily plotting away in Caesarea right now. Obviously, it's to rebuild our military and reposition and reinforce our more extreme territories, such as those in Iberia and those in North Africa, and then to prepare an army and a navy for a war of Anatolikon. In addition to that, we obviously are very interested in the unexplored regions of the world, and we'll be beginning to send out exploring missions. We'll educate our heir as well. He's a 3-4-3. We'd want to see him have a military education. Given where we're at right now, there's no way Castalla wouldn't prioritize that. Also, let's see if we can then explore. We can. Oh my god. A 2-6-2-1. If only that went into maneuver. I think our explorer may be leading our naval battles in the future. This is like a military guy who just really wants to go exploring. Okay, we are going to start with sending to the West African Sea to go ahead and get that gap. We know about all these countries down in modern-day Nigeria and West Africa because we've had contact with them and fought them a lot with the Pope, but we haven't explored the coast formally, so we'll do that to start off with. The glory of our capital has long been neglected. We now have an opportunity to improve the city and make it a beacon of cultural pride. This may prove costly, but there is an alternative solution. Yeah, we can afford to use our manpower for this. We've got quite a lot right now. All right, I think we get ready for the War of Crete. Castalla has been plotting away for this war, so we will have to do a no casus belli war. We have 2 stability. We'll go down to 0, but we're also going to take a lot of aggressive expansion. Sometimes we have the chance to set something into motion without seeming to have done anything. One such chance has arisen recently, with a cardinal living in Saracusta admitting to an agent from Sardinia he would consider moving across the border to Castella and support us in the Curia for a price. While this may be tempting, there may be a greater price to pay if we take advantage of this. The wrath of Castalla, the country he'd be deserting. Well, I have one thing to say on that. Fuck him. We'll take that goddamn cardinal from the Castallans. We have finished the last of the coastline. There is multiple places we can potentially colonize without many people here, only a few locals. There's an outpost on the edge of the desert. in Africa. And there are some islands down to the south, too, that there's nobody on at all. They appear to be deserted. We may send some traders there to set up a base. Hellas is requesting their aid in the Philopolesian War against Philopolpolis, Cyprus, and Dobruja. God, that's Vladimir! It's for the territories up here. Alright. Unmothball the fleet already. We're gonna fight the War of Cyprus while this war is ongoing as well. They're gonna take these northern territories. We might be able to relieve them in the south. And another big war here. And the Age of Reformation. From east to west, this is the age of religious conviction, debate, and mass movement. In Europe, Protestantism is entrenched while millenarianism takes hold of Iran, and religious syncretism shapes Indian society. We can do nothing to fight them here, so we're just going to focus in on Crete and stay in the war to hopefully allow Hellas to survive, and we'll use our navy, of course. Oh my god, Sweden's already Protestant! Skåne is the center of the Reformation, and all of Sweden has converted already. Wow. So it looks like the centers of the reform are in Hungary, Northern Germany, and then Sweden are the homes of reform here. Their fleets cannot contend us. That is one thing we absolutely have here. I'll be saying that all the way until we only have Sardinia. Let's declare the War of Crete then, and attempt to establish a foothold in the Eastern Mediterranean. It'll only be Serbia who joins. 7,000 men on the island. We should beat that when we land there. We have double their men. We need to win this landing though. Alright, when we defeat this army, which we will do sadly, I'm going to send men into Serbia as well. We can land them in Ragusa. We'll do that. They've got a task force of 17,000. I'm going to move the main fleet off the coast of Serbia so we can see their troop movements here. More important than Crete, since we have that at this point. We're going to explore the southern Atlantic as well. We're starting to get some pretty good maps towards Asia. That's a lot of men. Oh! They're going in. I don't expect us to win this, but we'll give it our best shot here. We can retreat now and split. I may have to call the Pope here. God damn, boy. And we got stacked wiped. All right, we're gonna make a call. We're gonna write a letter because we need to win this. All right, here we come. Come on, fuck, our transports are getting fucked up. Go, go, go. We got there. They retreated. This will put us up to 37,000 men. Castora will be leading this army herself. And here comes the Pope too. We can start the march now. He sent 40,000 men to northern Serbia. Oh, we lost the Pope. We lost the papacy. To Hellas, though. If there's anyone to lose it to, it's definitely them. We now have very good maps of the west, but we can't travel any further without our ships completely collapsing. We're going to take the fort in Qatari. All right, as soon as this castle falls, we should be able to get terms here. Castora continues to lack interest in military education. That's fine. He just needs to work harder. I'm going to siege out the southern part of Croatia, and then we're going to go relieve the Hellas down in the south. And I think, oh, Castor has been studying hard lately and is beginning to show. Good. He bucked the fuck up. Good. Very needed. We sunk the entire fleet, and we got one of their transport ships. We are going to push back that army, sieging out Hellas. Hellas, if they win this, maybe it'll take a bunch of territory, too, which they're in need of. They had a Protestant uprising. We'll deal with that in a minute. Siege of Rhodes, we'll sink the Cyprus Navy, and then we're going to land on Cyprus proper. Alright, let's get terms from Serbia. We'll give Valona to the Pope. And then Cyprus, we will completely annex her. Sorry, Crete, we will completely annex. It's worth it to establish an actual naval base in the Eastern Mediterranean. The war is over. Philopolis is going to give war reparations. Courthouse. The problem of hereditary local nobility is that they tend to value their local interest over those of the rest of the nation. We need to steadily expand the reach of the government, which begins with the most important area of administration, justice. We can embrace the Renaissance. Spreading from Italy and across Europe, the cultural rebirth of the ancient Greeks and Romans brings with it a new way of thinking about the world we live in. They give us a new understanding of how we relate to other people in ways that change politics as much as it changes art, while encompassing a multitude of cultural movements expressed in a multitude of ways in different places, bringing continuity to our cultural age. These principles have been pervasive in our society and carry influence not just in philosophy and humanist teachings, but in art and architecture, law and warfare. Over time, this will make our nation strong and people indomitable in the realm of the temporal as well as the spiritual. The Papal States wants to share knowledge of Western Africa. They're our allies, we'll do it. That's where we're heading. I mean, obviously they're gonna go colonial. Have they taken them yet? exploration, the number 2 ideas of the Papal State, they're already at level 5 on it. We're actually gonna compete with the Papal States in colonial stuff. Colonial Pope. All right, we have a period here where we're gonna have a bit of stability and a lack of war. Just bang on wood there. This is a point when Castalla would be primarily focused on rebuilding the military, rebuilding the navy, establishing a position in the Eastern Mediterranean, and much on a larger scale, we're preparing a war against Anatolia, right? We're preparing a war to just completely try and destroy them. Well, we're also preparing to send traders and people seeking a better life down to the Azores as well. I apologize. Cape Verde is where we're gonna go first. Rule 1 of parenting when you rule a country. Ignore any dreams your children have. They don't matter. Their job is to build your legacy. It's important to remember that. I think the main play here is to wait until Hayastan goes to war with someone, and then that's the time when we strike. If either one of them fight another war, that's when we're going to launch our crusade. They're one of the heirs to Byzantium. Do you remember in CK3 when the Mongols conquered all of the Byzantine Empire in one shot? Yeah, it's because a bunch of them split off after, right? Byzantium died when the Mongols took Constantinople, and Anatolia, along with Hellas, are 2 of the successor states that came out of that when Mongolia collapsed, right? And then the Ilkhanate collapsed, and then the Greeks got, like, home rule back. So they have a lot of Mongol influence and stuff, and they're very powerful, but they are actually Greek still. Let's get an admiral. 356. Whoa. Barzone Tribuluzio. That's a good fucking admiral. We got ourselves a little Sardinian Nelson here. The thing is, we are naturally very good seamen, being on an island. We have strong seamen, both in terms of our navy and in terms of our dynasty. So it checks out. Same with our admiral. Prince Castor's a zealot now. Really? Oh shit, he's a fucking zealot. To be fair, he's been brought up in religious wars with his mother. I mean, that actually really checks out, doesn't it? All right, we'll declare war. We'll finish out the last of the Sajadeeds. I think this is the 8th or 9th North African war with them. We've had so many. I am going to build up we'll build up one more group. We'll build up one more reserves of 12 that we'll just have, and I'll keep them actually in reserve. The noble families are the bulwark of our power. However, they are not a united force and are locked in a constant struggle against one another for influence and power. As time marches on, some noble houses might see their fortunes rise while others could lose all their power. The resulting envy leading to a bitter rivalries and recriminations. Recently, one of these rivalries boiled over into outright conflict, as Sumunder de Oceano, the leader of the powerful noble house, was assassinated by his rivals. Furious, his surviving relatives are preparing their violent revenge. We can respect that as a malevolent heir of Cipriana. We'll let them deal with that. We'll go for a native repression policy, because Castor's in charge right now. Let's see if we can colonize the Azores. Oh, sorry, Cape Verde. We can. We're going to send a couple of ships full of traders to establish a trading port in these islands to the south that we have found no one on. Hell yeah. Our first colony. This is a historic moment for House Torres in Sardinia. Oh no, the heir Castoro breathes heavily. He's been lying in bed for 3 days now and reflecting, and the beads of sweat on his forehead is the fear of his attendant's eye for Castoro's life. He might not be able to make this. We're gonna send for a medicus. Fuck. Castoro's died. Damn. He was actually a solid heir, and we're fucking 40. We have to go fuck our absolutely horrible husband again. Oh god, poor Castoro. We'll go for superior seamanship and get morale of navies and global engagement width. And we'll also get centralized adjudicades, which will give us autonomy reduction. Instead of paying cash to the nobles, another option is to grant them privileges to collect special revenues. No, we're not gonna do that. We have a centralized state for a reason. Hello! Oh boy. Look who's in the Dominican Republic! Those poor fucking natives, man. Oh god. They're not ready for what's about to hit them. Yeah, they beat us to the Caribbean. I mean, I plan to go east anyway, but goddamn. We will explore the southern Atlantic. Ooh, Iroquois Federation. Big one, too. Hell yeah. We have an heir! We'll name him after his dead brother. Castoro. We're literally gonna become like one of those families like the French or the Swedish where we have like 3 rotating names we use for everyone. Why don't you name your child something interesting that you've never done before? Listen, I hear you, I do, but listen. What if we call him Castoro the 17th? I'm just saying, it has a nice ring to it, you know? It's a little bit more unique than Castoro the 16th, I'd say. Definitely need to do that.